If you fell, that means that you could once fly. So I want to talk about what that means to me and why I decided to make a video about it while cooking this lamb that I got. This lamb pork shoulder chop. So basically, what does this mean? If you once fell, that means you could fly. I was actually thinking about this with Ilya Taporia. For those of you who don't know who he was the former lightweight, featherweight champion of the world. And he went through a divorce before he was undefeated fighter, right? Best, no one could really even touch him, to be honest. He was so much more exceptional than like everyone else, right? But then he goes through this divorce. His wife leaves him, right? And he goes to fight his opponent, Justin Gaethje, and he loses in the fight, right? And that's like a pretty bad fall. It was also the White House fight, like the UFC fight at the White House, if you heard about that. And that has to be extremely depressing to go through something like that. Like if you go through a divorce and you lose your belt at the biggest UFC like event ever, the biggest fight of the world ever to happen, and you lose it, that's gotta affect your mental state. So Ilya Taporia, he's really fallen, right? And I think that if he fell, that means that at one point he was like flying, like he was on top of the world at one point, like double UFC champion, undefeated. I think he's the first to ever do that. And I was thinking about that, like if you feel like you're really falling off and you're really going through a very, very difficult time, like it's really difficult for you, you're going through very bad trials, very bad adversities, just know that if you're falling, that means that at one point you were at least tall enough to have been at a certain point to fall. Because if you're already at rock bottom, you can't really fall. You know what I mean? Even if you stand and you fall, at least you were standing at one point, right? So whatever point you were at, if you fall, that means that you had ground to fall from. That's what I'm trying to say. And thinking about that in my life, and it's like when bad things happen to you, when you're going through really tough adversities, you're really struggling, you just have to understand that you were doing good to fall. Like you were doing good and then you fell off. But you had to fall off of something, right? So if you fell off, that means that you were doing good before, and now you know more than you knew before, right? So it's going to be even easier this time to get back to the point that you were at. So if you just don't give up, you're going to be able to fly again, right? Just like don't give up is the thing. If you have a dream and you have a goal and that's all that you can think about, it's the thing that keeps coming back to your mind and you don't want to let it go. That's what you need to like chase with your life. That is something very special because not everyone has that in their life, of just like one thing that keeps coming back to their brain and it's all they can think about. And it's like, for some people it's like a sport, like they really love what they do, they really love playing, and it's like they can't stop thinking about it. It just keeps coming back to their head, and it literally, it's almost like it possesses their mind 24/7. They can't focus. You can't focus in class, you can't focus on work, because you're always thinking about this game, you're always thinking about whatever it is that you think about. So if you have something like that, that's very special, because not everyone has that. So you gotta, whatever that thing is for you, you gotta chase that, and you cannot let it go. You can't let it slip. Even when you're chasing it and it's running away from you and you can't see it that good, if that's really what you want, then you gotta chase it. You gotta you can't let it go. You can't let someone else have what you thought should be yours. You can't let that go, because that's very, very special to have something like that. Let me go. I kind of got off topic there. I'm having such a difficult time opening this. You can fast forward maybe 30 seconds here. If not, you can practice some breath work as I open this. Holy, locked in. But anyways, if you have this thing that it's all that you can think about, you gotta go chase that. And you gotta go get that thing, whatever it is for you. And you have to stay focused on whatever your goal is, whatever it is that you really want. If we view it as like, when I've been thinking about this visualization a lot, and it's like my goal is like this tunnel. And right now, this is like where it is. But as I think about it, like further down, it gets more narrow and narrow and narrow and narrow. Because when you first start something, it's like, oh, it's whatever, I'm trying it out. It's like low commitment. But once you really decide to go in on something, it gets more difficult. Like if you want to run track and field for fun versus you want to win a gold medal, those are two very, very, very different things. Running as a hobby, sprinting as a hobby, versus I'm gonna go get this. What's it called? I'm gonna go get this gold medal. It's two very different things. So what I've been visualizing is like this tunnel. It goes, and it gets more narrow and narrow. Because if you're really trying to accomplish something at a high level and it's not easy to do, you have to dedicate everything that you have to this thing. You have to dedicate your health. You have to dedicate your time, relationship. Everything has to go in to making this one goal that you have achievable. And that's what I've been thinking about that, and also like going back to the title of the video. I'm saying all this so that it makes more sense for you. It's like, if you're trying to do this thing where you're trying to accomplish something that no one thinks you can accomplish, and everyone's hating on you, everyone's making fun of you for this thing that you really want to accomplish and really desire to, like, this is what I want to go all in on, and you start taking steps, you get higher and higher and higher, and then you fall, you hit rock bottom. So like anything, any not even related to the goal or what you're progressing towards, something happens, family member dies, you go bankrupt, you lose money, you break up, all of the things that life can throw at you. It's like when bad things happen to you and you hit rock bottom, it's like it gives you the opportunity to fly again. Because like going back to Ilia Topuria, undefeated fighters, when they lose this sort of like status as like this undefeated, godlike sort of fighter, sort of archetype. And when they lose that status. So it's very important that undefeated fighters like stay undefeated. And he was saying to, he was being interviewed by a former UFC champion, and they were talking. Daniel Cormier was interviewing him, and he says, Ilia, you can't lose. Like you cannot lose. Like you're undefeated. Your whole macho, your whole bravado, everything that you stand for. If you lose and you're no longer undefeated, you're losing. You kind of are losing everything if you lose, especially at this White House fight. And he's saying, like, no, like, obviously I don't want to lose. Obviously I'm gonna win, but he lost. I'm gonna win, this and that. But if I lose, it's okay. I'm not done. No matter what happens to me, I'm not done. So I'm very curious to see what's in store for my man Ilya Taporia. Very, very interested in his story to see what happens to him. He went through a divorce. He lost the belt. He went through so much damage during the fight, and he is in a very dark place right now. So I'm curious to see how he does. But if you were once flying and you've now fallen, you can get back up and you can soar again. Like, you can fly again. Like, just because something bad has happened to you does not mean that you need to give up. Does not mean that you need to stop chasing your dream. It's like whatever life throws at you, no matter how terrible it may seem, or how terrible it is in actuality, you can come back from very, very bad circumstances and make something of yourself, no matter what. And I think that's something beautiful that we all have the ability to do, is like, no matter what gets thrown at us, no matter what we go through, we have the ability to get back up and start chasing our dream again. If you fell, you can fly. Like, if you were so, like the story of Icarus. Let me tell you about this. If you guys don't know about this is a Greek mythology sort of thing. But Icarus was this, like, son of, like, a Greek god, I believe. Or he's a Greek god himself. So, like, or maybe a demigod, I'm not sure. But he's like this, let's just say son of a god is what he is. And he gets these wax wings, and they're beautiful. These beautiful wax wings. And his dad gives them to him, and he puts them on. And his dad tells him, don't go too high. If you go too high, the sun is gonna melt these wax wings that you have, and you're gonna lose the ability to fly. The wings are gonna melt off because they're made of wax. And Icarus decides that he starts, like, flying around with these wings on, and he flying, and he gets, like, more and more excited, and he loves these wings. He starts flying and flying and flying. He goes higher and higher. He remembers what his dad told him, don't go too high, or your wings are gonna melt. And he keeps flying, and he keeps flying, and he keeps going, and he gets so close to the sun. He gets so close to the sun that his wings melt off, and he starts to fall. And the story goes that Icarus laughed as he fell, because he knew that once he had flown high enough. Like, I think about that, and that really makes me think about my life right now. It really makes me relate to Ilya Taporia. It's like, if you fell, you should be happy. It's an amazing comeback story. It's an amazing opportunity to be locked in again and be chasing something relentlessly, getting back to where you were and going even higher. That's amazing, because I feel like a lot of people like to reflect on the past of, like, their life, reflect on what they've done, reflect on experiences. And I think that a lot of the time, the best times that we have is, like, really when we're, like, really locked in on something and pursuing it. I think that is when we really feel a lot of life satisfaction. Like, when we have one goal, one idea, one thing that we're pushing for it. We're locked in on this goal. We're giving everything that we have for it. And it's like this goal that you have, it almost like it becomes your life, and you're locked in on it. And you're focused in on it. And every waking moment is dedicated to this thing. You're so locked in. And then once you get it, it's like you kind of want to chase another thing. It's like, if you fall, it's an amazing, you should be happy. You should be rejoicing. You should be, it's go time. It's time to prove people wrong. It's time to prove people what I'm capable of. It's time to prove who I am. And it's time to fly again. Right? And I'm pretty sure that the story with Icarus, I'm not sure what happened